Nityanandam everyone, this is Prasida. Welcome back to the Kundalini Yogini. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this channel. If it's your first time or if you've been here before, I'm so grateful to have you here with me. Today's video is inspired by my last weekend's experience and also a component of my life which I feel like I really need to start sharing more about with you all on here. And that is the topic of Bhakti. Bhakti is truly such a key component of my life, my experience, and one of the fundamental reasons why I feel I have bliss and success in my life. So I wanted to explain for anyone who's newer to this term or to Sanatana Dharma or Eastern religion in general to get a better understanding of what Bhakti really means. So I just returned from Bhaktifest in Joshua Tree, California over this last weekend. I went there to celebrate my birthday in the ultimate way for me, which is just connection to the divine and to a spiritual community and celebrating and living and loving the divine presence in my life. And so it was the most magical, inspirational, fulfilling weekend, meeting the most incredible people and just having such subliminal, ecstatic experiences of divine love in my life. And so I wanted to kick off my next video explaining what is Bhakti and how it relates to our lives and how it can be a part of our lives and why it should be a part of our lives and my experiences with it. So I hope that this video gives a little insight for you guys and you enjoy. Translated Bhakti can be translated from the Sanskrit word to devotion, service, worship, or love of the divine. But basically, to understand it, it doesn't just mean love in the sense of person to person. It means love in the sense of towards something greater than yourself. It's that devotional love, devotional type of service, that love of worship, loving worship towards a divine presence, a divine being, a divine, whatever that you relate to or whatever that you want to call it. In the Vedas, it's actually explained as or defined as relishing in the bliss of God. That when we feel Bhakti inside of us, what's gifted back to us is bliss. And this is what Swami Mukundananda actually shares. He has some amazing discourses on this topic as well if you're interested in further videos. But basically, the understanding is when we devote ourselves or nourish that devotion inside, which might not necessarily be there or be large yet inside of us, but when we nourish that connection, when we devote ourselves to growing that connection, what we receive back from God, from the divine, from Shiva, from Krishna, from Devi, whoever that you connect to, what we receive back from them when we offer our bhakti, our devotion, is bliss. What happens inside the body is this intense, almost unexplainable until experienced bliss chemistry which happens. And the reason why I'm even talking about this is because I've had so many personal experiences of it. Otherwise, I'd probably have no idea how to touch on this topic because it's deep and it's something which is hard for the logical mind to catch right away. And just as a little prerequisite, I'd also like to share that, you know, there's many different paths to enlightenment, to the ultimate, to liberation within Sanatana Dharma, within Hinduism. And so Bhakti is one of them. There's many other paths, and so not all beings will relate in a devotional way to the divine, in a feeling of wanting to serve, to give seva or self-service to the divine, to be that, have that devotion and basically have the surrender. That's a really big key word in the path of Bhakti. You might also hear it referred to as Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga or being a Bhakti Yogi is a path of ultimate surrender to the divine. It's the path of realizing the smallness of the self, at the same time realizing the greatness of the self. But through that surrender, we allow the divine to take over. We allow God to intervene in our lives and to shower us with experiences by that ultimate humbling of the self. My personal guru, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, has taught me so much about Bhakti, not just in knowledge, not just in concept, but in experience. And I just wanted to share with you guys one quote from him, which I love how he explains what Bhakti really is. Bhakti, the devotion, the feeling of deep connection to that which is unchanging, eternal, and ultimate. I feel like this is a perfect summary, right, of no matter what the form of God is, the form of the divine, and I know that word can even be triggering for some people, the word God, right, because it also maps to a Western spirituality, Western faith. But whatever you connect to as that eternal, unchanging, ultimate source, when we put ourselves in devotion, when we flower and grow that devotion and feel that surrender to the divine, what starts to happen in our life is miracle upon miracle upon miracle. We just start to notice, start to see, and start to experience more and more and more and more and more depth and detail how the divine power guides our lives, showers us with love, showers us with abundance, and that ultimate unconditional love which we are seeking in every human relationship can only be found in one place. That is love from the divine. Love from Paramatma, Paramashiva, the ultimate source consciousness. Because that is our true nature. That's what resides in us and what we're waiting to tap into. We just have so many things distracting us from that. We're constantly being told through movies, television, and even in our day-to-day lives that we should be seeking that love in a future spouse, in a boyfriend or girlfriend, in a partner. And yet we're constantly disappointed. We're constantly in pain because nobody can give us that perfect love. Everybody has conditions on their love, as much as they try, as much as they want to love us, even our own parents. Until a being is enlightened, they can't love unconditionally. They can't love completely in the same way that we're looking for, that each one of us is looking for. And so when we have a source of that in our lives outside of us, outside of ourselves, and outside of our interpersonal human relationships, the beautiful gift it also brings us is ultimate fulfillment in our human relationships. Because when we're devoted to something larger, when we have that divine love pouring into us, flowering in us, we are then a full cup. We are a full cup, and that love overflows out of us. That love then can be given to other people instead of walking around feeling depleted all the time. I can't even tell you how much of my life I spent feeling I didn't even have enough for myself, nonetheless to give out to others, right? Even if we stretch ourselves and we feel like we're giving that love away, there's some part of us that feels depleted, right? I hope that some of you can relate to this, that there's some part of us that feels we want to give it, at the same time there's some inner voice saying, but what about me? I'm not getting enough. If I give that to her, what's going to be left over? If I give that to him, then what? What's he going to do? What's he going to give back to me? And so the grace, the ultimate grace of the source of God in my life, I can tell you, has been, as soon as I really experienced and realized that love is always there for me, and connected more and more to it through seva, service, selfless service, and sadhana, spiritual practice, I began to feel my cup as so full almost all the time. Not all the time. You guys saw my last video. Not all the time, but almost all the time, that love, it's like, I explained this yesterday to my mom, I think, that it's like that love, there's so much love in my heart just overflowing from my being. I can't even stop it from going out to other people. It's like there's too much there, I have to share it. It's like if you had a giant cake and you knew you were just already sick after 2 pieces of rich chocolate cake and you couldn't finish it yourself, and you knew that you were getting on a flight in an hour and that cake couldn't come with you. you have to give it away. So you run around the airport trying to share slices of cake with everyone. That's the best analogy I can explain for how it feels when bhakti, that devotion, is so full inside of you that you can't help but give love to others. Selfless, true love that doesn't have expectation. And when you witness this gift in your life, oh man, it's the most beautiful way to connect to all of life around you. Because when you experience and realize the divine love, when you taste it, this is the best part. You start to taste it in everything and in everyone. It's not just limited to the form that you pray to, the form that you worship. You then see every being as Shiva, every being as Swami Ji, as an extension of that source consciousness, and you understand how important everything is, how important every moment is with the beings around us and with the being that is ourself as well. How it's described, how Bhakti is described in the Vedas, the Vedic scriptures, and elaborated by Swami Mukundananda in a discourse I was watching recently. He shares that Bhakti has the power to relieve us from all suffering. When Bhakti enters our life, it completely relieves the illusion of Maya. Bhakti is so powerful that it breaks the bonds of Maya. Maya is the illusion of this physical world. Thinking this body is us, thinking that this is our only life experience, that everything around us, money, fame, name, fortune, everything matters so greatly, and all those bonds which cause us suffering. Bhakti is a force which liberates us from that. It can be a source to completely alleviate that suffering and that illusion in our life and break it, shatter the illusion completely. Because when we taste true essence, true love, true devotion, everything else becomes redundant. It becomes absolutely redundant. Because you know what's really there. You know what's really there to experience inside of yourself. You know what's really there, what life really is and who you really are. So the last little anecdote, little story that I want to share with you guys is the story of Hanuman. Hanuman is depicted as this monkey and man god. You might have seen him or are familiar with him if you've ever been to a temple. He's a very well-known deity. He is considered actually an incarnation of Lord Shiva. And he was a devotee of Lord Rama and Sita when they were in the body. Thousands and thousands of years ago, when they were the rulers of the kingdom in ancient India, Hanuman is considered and revered as basically the ultimate embodiment of the perfect devotee and servant of the Lord. He worshipped Rama with every cell of his body, and the stories told about him give such a beautiful context into true devotion and true service of the Lord, of the ultimate, of God. And so I just wanted to share with you guys one story that's very well known about Hanuman that resonates deeply in my heart and gives me a clearer picture of what Bhakti is. And also a very famous line from the Vedas by Hanuman, from the Puranas actually, that Hanuman shares. When Rama asks him who he is, if he's a monkey or a man, he's confused and he asks him. And Hanuman replies, "When I do not know who I am, I serve you. When I do know who I am, you and I are one." Like, just meditate on this, guys. Truly, just that one line I feel is such a powerful cognition if you can catch it. Hanuman just shares from that such a pure, innocent, childlike space. His only image and idea of his self, his identity, is that when he doesn't know who he is, he just serves the Lord. He serves Rama, his Ishtadevata, his Lord. When he does realize who he is, which is the ultimate, by the way, which is Rama himself, which is the divine, he realizes that him and Rama are one. They're one and the same. There's no separation. And so this is a perfect encapsulation of what Bhakti, the understanding that Bhakti brings in our lives. And the story that I'll share about Hanuman to end this video is that Hanuman, a very famous story told about Hanuman is that when he was in the court with Rama and Sita, and Rama was going to leave, and he was giving gifts to other people in the court and giving out gifts, parting gifts basically to everyone. And he didn't give Hanuman anything. And Sita was there, and Sita was like his mother. She was like a mother to Hanuman. So she felt, I want to make sure Hanuman feels loved. So Sita took a mala that Ram was giving out, and a pearl mala, and she gave it to Hanuman. And Hanuman took the mala and didn't seem really happy at all. And he started breaking apart the pearls, and he was biting them and spitting them out and looking inside and breaking them, and he kept going and breaking this very expensive, elaborate pearl necklace. And other people were like, why are you doing this? It's so disrespectful, Hanuman. This is a gift from Lord Rama. And Hanuman responded, I don't see how this is of any use to me unless Rama is inside. Just that he is so clear, so chaste, so pure in his knowing that his life is only for Rama, to connection to Rama. And so he doesn't even see the value of a pearl unless Rama is within. And so then he gets a response, well, are you just going to destroy everything that doesn't have Ram in it? And he says, well, yes. And he's like, well, what about yourself? Is Ram inside of your heart? Are you going to destroy yourself? And Hanuman says, if Ram is not inside this body, I should destroy it. And he ripped his chest open, and inside his heart was Rama and Sita sitting there on their thrones. Everyone in the court saw and just was in awe that sitting and residing in Hanuman's heart was Rama and Sita themselves. So there's nothing more to say or share really. I'll just leave you guys with that story. But Bhakti is such a beautiful experience. I got to have the most incredible devotional experiences in the last years of my life at the service of my guru and of devotion to Lord Shiva and other deities, living in and around temple communities and having so much of that devotion in my life. I can't even tell you how unexplainably grateful I am for that connection in my life. And how I could explain it to you is truly, like this last weekend, I'll be making future videos on this and a vlog about this as well so you guys can see. But if you follow me on Instagram at Kundalini Yogini Prasida, you'll see that I was at Bhaktifest this last weekend, which is a huge festival all about Bhakti, all about devotion. A lot of people from the Eastern path, yogic path, Hare Krishna, Eastern tradition, devotional traditions come to celebrate through yoga and meditation, community connection, and ultimately kirtan, which is singing and chanting the names of gods and goddesses in devotion to them, and just feeling this ecstasy. And it was so amazing to witness thousands of people at this festival. It was a sober festival, no drugs and alcohol. And everyone looks like they are high as a kite. And it's just literally from the Bhakti inside. The very last day I was there, the last session I was at, I was sitting for kirtan in this small stage with my friend Teresa. And we were just singing and chanting back Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Hanuman, and chanting, and I just was in tears, just feeling so overwhelmingly full of love, so overwhelmingly full of grace and gratitude for life. And then we got up and we started dancing with complete strangers, just ecstatically dancing, jumping around like little kids swinging, and it was just such an amazing experience to have. And so I wish and pray for all of you to have those experiences in your life. I truly do, because it is the ultimate grace and blessing. And so if it's something that you're looking to nourish and grow inside your life, What I would recommend is, one, of course, reading and listening to more and more stories of the ultimate devotees and saints of the Lord throughout Eastern tradition, especially within Sanatana Dharma. There are thousands of stories of disciples and devotees of different incarnations, and their stories are just, it awakens that in you. And then what else I would recommend is just doing any type of seva or service that you do for the divine or even for other human beings really flowers that bhakti in you. And of course then sadhana or spiritual practice, like a yoga, a meditation, meditating with a god or goddess that you want to connect to. Chanting is extremely powerful, like I was just mentioning. Chanting, doing kirtan, singing the names of Krishna, the names of Shiva, the names of Lakshmi, whoever that you're searching that connection for or feel that you want to develop that connection for. So I hope this video was a little insightful for you and helpful. I would love to hear your experiences of bhakti in your lives and the miracles that you've experienced from the this divine gift. So thank you guys if you watched this video. I love you all so much. Thank you for your love and support throughout this last week and for all the birthday wishes you guys sent me. I'm so excited to start my 25th year of life. I completed 24, so I'm 24 now. Going on to the next year, and I am so excited for what's to come. So thank you guys for being a part of my lives and my journey. I am in so much gratitude to all of you for everything that you've given me in my life. Love you guys. Have a blessed day. Nityananda.